Alrighty, guys, we're back, man. We're episode 29 in right now.
Has Curtis ever started a podcast without saying "alrighty, guys"?
I was gonna say.
I don't know. I got called out. No, but I got
Rewind.
called out for saying every time I do something, I say "let's go." I think it's just more of like a nerves kind of getting into it.
Yeah,
and that's just like
it's your way to loosen up your own goose.
You get yourself hyped.
Yeah. It's one of those like filler words that I'm not really prepared for. But we got Mikey back on the pod. Chris here. Hawaii break for Ricky right now. I mean, he deserved it.
He's in Hawaii?
He'll be back. He's probably back like as we're speaking.
And
I was just in Hawaii too.
What island?
a little flex.
Big Island.
The Big Island.
Yeah.
And
Same one Ricky's on.
We got Bento over there doing the producing.
The silence.
We upgraded a little bit here on like the technology level, and then we got Riff and myself, guys. And we're just kind of ready.
We're seeing if we can like react to stuff live for once, like where stuff will play and listen. You know, some would say we're trying to do a good thing here. So
we're trying to put a little bit of money in to figure out how to make something better.
you know why we brought Mikey in?
Why?
So last time you were here, Mikey, we said our Funko Pop's dying, right?
Insulting my collections.
Yes, insulting you to the core. This video title, The Death of Funko Pops. Sound the alarms. Okay.
Turn them off.
I would love to hear your perspective too, because Chris, you sell them in your stores. I will say for people like me and Curtis, well, that's why we wanted, kind of both of your guys' opinion. From what we've seen, when we sell them, for us, it's dead. At least we're probably catering to the wrong people. I get it.
Definitely.
But I want to hear from you as a hardcore dedicated. How many Funko Pops do you think you have at this point?
Oh my God. Don't even ask me that question. In my collection, like at least 1,000.
Okay.
But I'm trying to cut down by selling them too. But in the ones that I'm selling, I got like another 1,000. So.
Oh, so you have over 2K probably.
I have inventory for sure.
Wow.
Have you actually like know how much you might have? It just in a ballpark.
Well, I stopped counting like 2 years ago. That's the thing. And I kept buying and buying and buying. So like ballpark, I want to say at the least 1,500.
What would you sell it for if someone was like, hey, bulk price right now, cash money?
Give me 30,000 at low. That's low end.
So
I'll
that's
say
30
like
bucks a piece on average?
Yeah, around there. There. I think like that's fair like for them too, because there's some of them that you probably won't be able to sell to anybody.
How do you collect them? Do you collect based on value, or do you collect more like on genres, like you want all the Wolverines or something like that?
Well, now it's genres. I'm trying to be way more smart about it because, like you said, there's some pops that will never move ever. Like you'll try to sell it for $2. Can you do one?
Yeah, there's hundreds of them at $5 below.
Never mind, I don't want to anymore. But now I'm trying to collect like the more like the pricier ones from the stuff that I actually like. So like let's say like the Spider-Man ones. If it's like a pricier one, I try to get the vaulted ones, the older ones. That's the smartest way to do it, honestly.
Curtis, I was going to say, well, he's going, maybe search up on eBay, like some of the more expensive Funko Pops. See what pops up. Go by highest solds.
All right.
Funko Pops will be curious.
How long has Funko Pop's been out for now?
Long time.
Yeah, how long is it?
Since 2012 was like the first Funko Pop.
14 years now.
But Funko's been going before that.
Yeah, Funko's been around. I forgot.
They were doing the Wacky Wobblers too.
Wacky
Oh, right. So they have been around a long time. But so they released their first one.
That.
So do you refer to like, is there like a generation one? Is that like the first ones? Are they worth a lot of money now?
If you find ones that were like out like in 2012, 2013, those are the ones you really want to get because like they're not making them anymore. And like that's the thing is like they'll make a pop, but they'll make like 30,000 of them, and then it's kind of like the value will be low because you can find them anywhere for like cheaper and stuff like that. But not all of them. Like there's a few of them that like they'll only make 1,000 of them, and those are the ones you want to get.
So what makes, Ben, if you can pull it up on the screen, the highest looks like a normal Funko Pop that we see as of recent.
So that first one up there, the
explain for the fans who are audio listening. They can't see.
Oh, okay. So there's a Green Lantern one right there that's going for like how much did it sell for? It doesn't say the exact number, but it says 18,000 is crossed out. Let's say they sold it for
15.
15.
Yeah, shield better. Yeah.
That's the first packaging that they had for Funko Pops. It was that.
Oh wow.
It's the first one.
The old school one.
Yeah, that they have this one, and there's just like a metallic Batman one that's also going for around the same price. But those are like the first
so that one
ones
was
that came.
2010.
Yes, so these were like before they had the box.
Yep.
Wow.
And then the next one, like.
So what's up with the Freddy Funko 2014 San Diego Comic-Con? Looks like red hair exclusive. Why would this go for something like 10,000? What about?
Because it's one out of 24. So there's only 24 of them out there. Wow. So if you're like a hardcore collector, you want the ones that like are hard to get. if there's only 24 of them, like maybe 3 people in the state will have them.
So this is like so in terms of like, I think like NES, this is more than a little Samson. This is like more of a, like an NWC, or not anymore, but you know,
Wow.
I mean, $10,000
Yeah,
game.
those are big prices.
Like little Samson, like how many little Samsons are there?
A lot,
out there.
a lot more than 24.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way
so,
more.
Yeah, so like let's say like the Funko game keeps growing,
You can switch it, Ben. Sorry.
and then like more people like with money start getting into the collections. You know, like those numbers are kind of low. There's another one that's like a Willy Wonka 2-pack where they only made 2 of them, and I think they sold it for, I want to say, more than 60,000. I forgot the number. Like if you could look that up, you could pull that up.
So,
I mean, I could, yeah.
I know we said Funko Pop
Let me
is
give me a
dead.
second.
Obviously, it's the worst time for us to say it while we're looking at $10,000 pop sold. Where is the market right now overall Funko Pop?
So last time I was here, it was kind of going down.
Okay.
Because like that's when they started destroying a bunch of pops too. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah,
like,
you told us, yeah.
Yeah, so but now this year they kind of started making like a big comeback because all the pops that they're releasing now, it's more thought out. It's like, all right, let's not release the 10th character of a movie that people barely remember and make like 20,000 pops of that.
you're
Let's
talking
make
about that bad boy.
one right there. That's the big
can pull
one
it up.
right there. See, look, see the price range?
71K to 100,000.
I actually know a person that bought this one.
Wow.
How much do they spend?
They spent around that number. I don't remember the exact number, but
Supply
that was like a
10.
big thing in the community, and it comes with the golden ticket too.
What did they sell them for originally? Do you remember?
Originally, retail price, I would say, since it was back then, would probably be like 20, 30 bucks. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How did you get that one?
That one, that was a Comic-Con one, so you had to go to Comic-Con to get it. But I think it was like a special thing, like you had to win it or something like that. Like you had to find a golden ticket. I wasn't collecting during this time, unfortunately.
That is kind of
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
A smart way to do it. Like that is a smart
Without
way to do
doubt.
it. Like the golden ticket, because
Yeah.
that's like Willy Wonka.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's what they're doing now. Is more like there's like this Venom one, where they made like 24 of them, and this one guy ended up buying like 12 of them, and he kept buying them from people. Like, let's say you had one, he's like, "Do I'll pay you like." I say I'll pay you 500, and then like the next person, like the next week, he's like, I'll pay you 1,000. Then he ended up selling each one for like more than 12,000 each, and he started doing like big videos about it. And bro, he came up big time because he controlled the market. So it's like whoever sells it first controls the market.
So I remember back in the day, I forget what year it was, but like people were going to the Targets and the GameStops and like waiting out
Yeah.
line for Funko Pops for the exclusives. Is that still happening?
It's not happening as much. It just depends what character it is. Like if it's like a popular anime or something like that, or like let's say like the Deadpool movie's about to come out. If there's like a limited Deadpool, then people are gonna want that pop right now, so they'll line up still. But if it has a chase, also like last time I told you guys that a chase is 1 out of every 6. So if you get lucky and you get a chase of a popular pop, then like you could sell that one for maybe triple the price or quadruple the price
Whoa.
at first, and then it keeps
so
going.
you did say that when you first came here, we kind of got sidetracked. That it was going down.
It was going down.
Where's it at now?
Even if we look at the stock market in the past year, which I checked before I got here,
Smart man.
like the stock price started going up again because it started crashing because of all the info that I told you guys about them destroying the pops and everything. But this year, like they're being smarter about it because they're also doing like special edition pops. Like now, like if like the winner of the Super Bowl, like once they won the Super Bowl, they're like, all right, we got this limited edition like 5-pack, and it comes with like 5 players in it, and like you had to pre-order it to get it.
Who won the Super Bowl? 49ers?
No.
Chiefs.
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 Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't remember.
I literally didn't watch it, so I don't know.
So it's all pre-order though. So it's like once the pre-order is closed, you can't order it anymore. So if you have that pop and you want it later on, then you have to buy it from a reseller, and then like the prices go up. So that's the best way to do it because it's like they'll only make the ones that people want
Which
and
I
are paid for.
Which I was gonna say, this almost sounds very similar to like Marvel movies right now, right? Like they started just putting out random side
Yeah,
person that even though
exactly.
they're there and maybe they were great in the comic books or whatever,
Yeah.
the big draw wasn't those people. So it's kind of like the movies where people are like, yeah, maybe it was fine, but nobody really cares as much. So it's almost like sounds like that where they're like, maybe we should start going back to the I know you're, you know,
Let's
it's
bring
like
back the big boys.
it's like Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you slap Mario or Link or Zelda, Donkey Kong, people are gonna buy it
sell.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Not when you
That's-
make it random side quest character adventure. You're like,
it's kind of crazy to see like the just Funkos and even NECA toys in the early 2000s. All of a sudden, like all those toys are now starting to skyrocket. Certain types. I'm saying like the horror ones can go for hundreds of dollars. We went to what was it, Monster Palooza, and that guy that you bought a bunch of VHSs from had some just on the wall, and he was like, "Yeah, this Freddy versus Jason one is like $300." And I was like, "What?" I was like, a toy that worth $300, dude? Like, there's just no way. Like, we were crapping on early 2000 toys. We're like, oh, those things are all just crud. They don't make them the same anymore. But it seems like the value of things are just going up.
Horror stuff like goes up all the time. I feel like
that's pretty wide too. Horror, I feel like, does well in most genres
even
for like
with pops,
value.
too. With pops as well, like horror stuff does really well.
Do you think that a lot of people are running into issues collecting pops with just space?
And like what happens is like newer collectors, they just buy everything that they see, like the common ones, and then like once the space runs out, they're like, all right, I'm gonna sell part of my collection, but then they try to sell the commons, and they're like they can't sell them because they're common pops. Like you could find them sometimes at Ross like for $5 and stuff like that. So if you just have commons, you're not gonna be able to like to get your money back. You know,
you've ended at SoCal, and you know primarily we were dominating in the gaming like space with just games.
Yeah.
How did you do on just pops?
I did really, really, really well. Like
good. That makes me happy to hear.
I've done a few events, like pop events and stuff like that, and the expo was actually the time I made the most money off of pops. And I introduced a lot of people to pops too, like their first pop, you know. So it's like
it's a cool
was
experience.
there anybody else selling pops there? Or were you the only one?
There was a few people. There was maybe like 2 or 3, and I actually knew them too. It's part of like the Funko community.
And were they specifically pop vendors or just happen to be selling pops as well?
There was one guy that was just pops.
And you were just pops?
I was pops, and I had a few games. And like
you were mostly 95%.
Yeah, 95% pops. I was trying to concentrate on pops and see how it.
Did you have an idea of like what type of pops to bring to this convention?
I was trying to buy as many gaming pops as I could.
Gaming pops.
So I was like, okay, let me buy all the Halo ones.
What did the best?
The like the ones that did the best were definitely like the Resident Evil ones because those are older
and
plus
people wanted
and like
them
people didn't.
Plus we had the Resident Evil voice actors.
Yeah, it was like right
so
there,
they were buying
all of
them to
them
get them signed.
We had Jill Valentine, Rebecca Chambers,
Scott White,
and they're really hard to get too.
Albert
Like
Wesker.
gaming pops are starting to be hard to get. Like the Resident Evil ones, like Joe Valentine, I sold it for like 160, and then what's the guy's name?
Chris Redfield.
No, but like the character in Resident Evil, what's his name on there?
In Resident Evil?
Yeah, in Resident Evil, the game. I forgot the main character.
Chris Redfield is the main guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the voice actor or like the guy's name in the game?
In the game is
In the
Chris
game
Redfield.
is Chris Redfield.
Okay, it's probably another character, but
There's Albert Wesker. He was there too.
Was it him? Okay, well, one of them, I sold it for $250.
Wow.
So those pops were like definitely like
They probably
like
got it
people
signed.
want them.
Was that the most expensive pop you sold there? $250?
$250, yeah, and I sold the set like together, so it was like almost like $400 together.
Shit. It made me laugh too because I went over to you and I could just see how hyped you were. You're like, I'm doing good. Bro. I actually think
Funkos are not dead.
I think you actually said it, like came over and like Funkos are dead, bro. Like give me a hug. And you're like, I'm making money. And I'm like,
How nervous were you when Funkos weren't doing that great and you had thousands of them?
yeah, 30K sitting there.
Well, with me, like when stuff is looking bad, I always try to find a way to get through it. You know, I'm like, all right, man. Like, let's say Funko does die, I'm gonna have to get rid of these. So one way to do it is to promote them. You know, on my page, it's like, look, I have these for sale. Like, if you buy these, you support me too. Support the family, please. Support this Latino.
This Latino.
So
Now,
you know, I try to like promote like the listings and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I trade them too. I'll try to trade like 10 for like one expensive one or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember years ago hearing people make the comparison between Funko Pops and Beanie Babies. Like, Funko's
Mikey
just
hates
be
that, just so you know.
the next Beanie Babies. I never believed that, but like, could you ever see that happening where like
Chris
they're
has a bunch of Beanie
absolutely-
Babies at home.
No, I do not. I do
Speaking
not.
of-
Beanie Babies will make a comeback.
There are still a
You
lot
wanna buy
of
some?
people that believe that Beanie Babies will make a comeback, and they do. We see them all the time.
You never know.
And I see them at
Some
estate
will,
sales.
right?
Princess
No,
Diana.
they're all pretty worthless. Honestly, they're all pretty worthless.
Princess Diana. Go look up Beanie Baby.
There might be like
Princess
two.
Diana?
don't think it's
there
even
might
worth
be
it
like
because I know
5.
because the Golden Auctions was trying to promote it
on,
as
look
one
it
of
up.
those things.
I
There might be
think-
like 5 total.
I think there's a Princess Diana one. I think that's worth a crap ton
I'll
of
look it
money.
up in a
I
second.
think.
I'll let Ben
There
know.
are a
That was
couple
the one
that
that
go for a
was
lot.
apparently, but I
The
did
highest
always
sold.
hear people say
Beanie
like,
Baby.
of course they were haters, right? They were like, oh, they're just going to be the next Beanie
Oh, I
Baby.
still get those comments like once a week, once a day sometimes.
Could you ever see that happening with Funko Pops where like 40 years from now they're
You
absolutely
can never say
worthless?
never.
Yeah.
So it could definitely happen, but the comparison is always like funny because like Beanie Babies didn't really have licensing, right?
No licensing, none.
Yeah, no licensing. So that's the biggest difference.
I don't believe any
look,
of them.
all right, Ben,
15K
hold
on
on.
Princess Diana.
I don't believe them, and I think they're like the Disney like Black Diamond stuff. I don't think they're real.
All I'm
sales.
saying is go up to the top, Curtis. All I'm saying for audio listeners, there's a 75K sold, there's an 18K sold, a 15K
But
sold,
you
I
get
don't
the
believe
money.
it.
and the Princess Diana is 15K.
I don't
don't
think these
believe
are
it.
ever checked out. There's no way.
I don't believe them. Like you could go to Disney Black Diamond, and we all know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it's
believe
true.
them.
The
Yeah.
Black
Bid $10,000.
No,
No, for sure, dude. Like they probably never got the money, bro.
yeah, didn't you sell hot Cheetos on
I was
eBay and never got the
literally
money?
gonna say that, dude. I sold it for like $2,000. I never got the money, but it sold on eBay.
It was a bag.
So people were.
There's a
yeah, it was like-
misprint.
yeah, it was a misprint bag.
It was so funny looking.
And like we did a whole video on it too, and it sold like at first they got like 20 bids and it looked real,
Those were probably real in the beginning.
probably like $80, but like just because it went kind of viral, like that video went viral, and then like people started like getting crazy with it and they started like doing like $2,000 bids. I forgot the final number, but it was in the thousands.
I remember how happy you were, and then as soon as it got ridiculous, I could just see your
I was like, oh,
your
okay,
emotion, like,
over.
oh, okay,
I
this
tried
is
to milk it though. I was like, oh, well, now the bag's at $3,000. The people were like really asking me. They're like, no, because I work at like the bag place, and we have a lot of those. We throw them away, but I kept some. I'm like, bro, just throw it up on eBay, see what happens. But I think people were bidding on it just because they saw the video and they were like, oh, it's kind of cool.
dang, dude.
I know this isn't a sponsor or anything with one of the companies, but one of the companies reached out to you. It was Street Sharks.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool. What kind of experience was that like doing a live unboxing?
Dude, so it was actually Mattel. They hit me up and they sent me like the Street Sharks box. It's like an anniversary thing, and they sent me like the 3 Street Sharks toys and like a hat and like a shirt and everything. And it was cool because they found me. Like I didn't reach out to them, but I was doing Street Sharks videos because I had them and I always enjoyed them, and I would be like, oh man, whole Funko makes the Street Sharks and this and that.
Because you have the collection of the action figures.
Yeah, I
the
have a few of them. I have maybe
You have a
like
good
10.
amount.
Yeah, I
You
have
have a-
like 10 or 15.
I think you have more than that. I think you have like 20.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah.
and then it reached out, but it was always cool because like I always felt like a little bit of nostalgia with that because the first time I got a Street Shark was I had a sister. She passed away when I was 12 years old. No, 8 years old. Sorry. And
How old was she when she passed away, if you don't mind me asking?
she was 18 years old.
She was 18.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like we used to be at Children's Hospital all the time, so I was like the kid running around the hospital. You know, I was just like the little kid that didn't have anything, but like I used to go to the playroom and be playing like the PlayStation in there and everything.
That's
so the
cool.
nurses knew me, the doctors knew me, and everything. So when my sister passed away, like a month later, like they sent me a big box of like toys, like all the nurses and doctors. And one of the first things I took out, and I'll never remember, I was like 8 years old, is a Street Sharks toy. And I was like,
dope.
this is so cool. So I'll never forget that. So because of that, like those toys have like a special meaning to me. you know?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
So then like when they hit me up and I'm unboxing the Street Sharks,
They're getting emotional.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it
I
gives
was
me
like,
chills.
dude, the Street Sharks. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a cool moment.
That's such a testament to nostalgia. That's why when a lot of people knock what certain people are into, you just never know what
Yeah.
someone used as at that time, and it could be anything, right? It could be a football, like you. And then I got into
Yeah.
football because it could be something that came into your life during a time of hardship that you're like that just connected with you.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and that's something that always stuck with me. Yeah, and yeah, it was like a full circle moment for me.
Wow.
It was dope.
Dang man, that gave me chills. That was great. Like I mean, not great as in like with the story, but I mean like
Of course.
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
all, it's all in the past, you know, and like honestly, those moments are like what shaped me like to be a better, you know, like the person I am today. You know, I kind of like when I meet people, I kind of appreciate like
Yeah.
like those moments, you know, because you never know when something could happen, and then like you just lose like the person next to you. You can't talk to them anymore.
Do you mind me asking what she passed away from?
She had a disease called cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
That it affects your lungs. It gives you like a lot of phlegm in your lungs and everything. So my mom was like always taking care of her. You know, so like I was always with my mom because I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
So, you know, we would always be over there, and like whenever like they would be at the hospital, like I would be over there. But the thing is that like whenever we were over there, like the doctors were always super cool with me, you know, like like the nurses were cool with me.
That's cool.
That's always a good experience too.
You got
for a
other
kid.
brothers and sisters too?
No, it's only her.
Only her.
So
She was your only one.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice that the doctors and nurses sent you that box. That's pretty thoughtful that they did that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
really
because
nice
my
of them.
sister was really outgoing too. You know, it's like even though like my sister was sick, like she was always like really positive, really like talking to everybody.
Was she sick for a long time before she passed, or?
Yeah, it's like she had it when she was born. Like they only
okay,
gave her
so it's
until the
something she
age
dealt
of
with.
8, like to
Got it. Okay.
like survive, but then she surpassed that. But what made it worse is like she was actually good, you know, like she'd go to the hospital, get checkups, and she'll be there for a while when she gets sick. But she actually ended up getting her license during that time. She was like 16 or something. Like I'm not sure if it was like the license or if it was like she was practicing to get a license. But she got into a car accident where like they hit her from the back, and she ended up hitting her chest on the steering wheel like a bunch of times. And it was kind of like a.
So was it that
so
mixed?
it made it worse.
It was mixed with the existing condition.
Yeah, that's what made everything worse.
Wow, that's
and then
horrible.
like slowly it started getting worse. And
Dang.
but the one thing that like even though it was like a sad moment, it was still like a beautiful moment at the time is when she passed away. I was able to say bye to her.
Yeah.
Like I was there at the hospital because she was slowly like passing away. And there's actually okay, I'll kind of come back to that, but I was able to say bye to her. You know, I told her I loved her. I was like, Wendy, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I'll never forget too, my sister was like, Michael, I heard you. I love you too.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? There's a game I want to get because of that moment. And it was because when she was in the hospital, like me and my dad were going to get me a birthday present, and we were at Sears.
Yes.
And the game I bought at Sears was Balls 3D.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Super was it Super Nintendo?
PlayStation 1 too, I think.
It could have. I think it was on a few things.
No, I think it was Super Nintendo or like the first NES. But my mom was trying to reach out to
probably
my
Super
dad at
Nintendo
that
then.
time because like my sister was getting really bad because it was like around my birthday, and then like my mom was trying to reach my dad, but at that time there was no cell phones; it was beepers. So my dad wasn't getting the call and stuff, and then my sister was getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and then once we got to the hospital, they were kind of like about to start, you know, like they didn't want to see her suffer. So they were kind of contemplating like if we should like already like pull the plug on her.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk in like a movie. We walk in during that time, and me and my dad didn't know what we're going, like what was going on. And then my dad, like, he sees what they're doing, he's like, no. And then like that's what extended like her passing away even longer. But she was kind of like suffering, but at the same time, like she was still conscious and everything. So we were all able to say bye to her.
Wow.
That is a crazy moment. I haven't talked about like all
That's
that
so
in a
tough,
long time,
man.
but it just
That is tough.
I'm
It's
glad
tough
you,
as an
the gaming,
8-year-old to deal with that. Like I couldn't even imagine. That's
and I'm
tough.
glad you got proper time with her too, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's one of the most heart wrenching things within death is when it's, you know, say she died during the car accident,
Yeah.
right? You feel like you didn't get to, and obviously, like you said, it's not like it's, you know, there's nothing good about it, but the fact that you got the time with her, you know, she to the point where she's telling you, I know, Mikey, you know, I know, Michael.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That
And
you
that
were
moment
telling
is so
her that
crazy
much.
to even think about it, you know, because I was like crying like, oh, Wendy. She's like, I know, I remember. I know, I heard you. I love you too. And that's the last thing I remember because it was like a long process. So I fell asleep,
Got it.
and then when I woke up, like
She
her
passed.
dad passed away.
Man.
Wow.
Do they have a cure for cystic fibrosis now or no?
Not yet. Like my mom still donates to this
cool.
charity called it's called like 65 Roses or something like that. So if you guys want to look it up or anything like later on,
Yeah.
Why is it called that? Do you know why?
no, I don't know. I guess just because it sounds like it, cystic fibrosis, 65 roses.
Oh, it does sound like it. 65 roses. Yeah.
Chris will catch on.
I didn't get that
Took
at
'em a
first.
while.
Yeah.
I think it was Mikey. I did say.
And Ben, you can pull it
you
up.
pulled it up. I'm looking
Oh,
up.
it is? Okay,
I'm looking
see-
up the game.
See, and I haven't even talked about it forever, but I still remember it.
Okay, it was Super Nintendo. Let me see.
Ball 3D? Okay,
think-
yes. So
I'm
that's
looking it
one of
up.
the ones I'm trying to search for.
Oh.
Is that one because I also didn't like it was literally on my birthday that all that happened, and
I
that's
think
why I was buying the game. Is
Yeah.
because it was like around my birthday.
Man, to go through that, man, it's like it's also hard to count. Like, not a lot of people get closure, and like you always keep a great high energy, and it's like you would never know.
And that's why it's like whenever you have a loved one, I always like to tell people this, like there's friends or like family that they get into arguments about little things. and they'll
100%.
Stop talking to them for a long time.
Yep.
I always tell people, look, man, if it's something that you could get over the next week, then it's better just squash it because you never know what could happen.
Right.
Like the next day, it's like they could be driving home. They could.
I tell
be
that.
anywhere.
I tell
It could
that
be
to my
anything.
kids all the time when we even have like an argument, and he's like, oh, "I'm gonna go," and he goes right off on his bike. I'm like, just. I love you, no matter how mad I am at right now. If I died, if somehow I would hate this if that's how life ended. By the way, Mikey, I just bought it for you, CIB.
What?
So, it's coming, man. That was such a cool story, man. I was like, I have to get that for Mikey. So, and I mean, to make it lighthearted, I've always wanted to give you balls.
And 3D.
And thank you for like opening up because you never know like whose life is gonna
I
change
did not
after
plan
that.
on talking about that, but
And
We
neither
never
did we.
planned,
Neither
yeah.
did we.
yeah, dude, it just literally happened just talking about like
We do this raw dog, dude. You already know.
just wing it.
Curtis produces the same way his mom.